hit the shoes!
Hey everybody, Tony George along with my good buddy Vernon Croy, DocSports.com, Sports Betting 101, and I'm going to just hand it off to the master. The man is from Toronto?
Yeah, Toronto, just outside Toronto, yeah.
Anybody north of the border knows NHL. I don't. I have a staff handicapper that does mine, but I'm going to tell you something. This is one of the best, and I've known Vernon for almost 20 years. One of the best NHL handicappers on the planet.
Oh, thank you, Tony.
Yeah, well, there you go. Well, you owe me a steak dinner after
Yeah,
this,
there
by
you
the
go.
way. But that being said, we're going to talk about how to handicap the NHL, and what that would mean would be if you were to sit down with someone who wants to bet hockey
Yeah.
or wants to handicap hockey,
Okay.
but doesn't know how to do it. What would be 3 or 4 of the top techniques, tips you would give them?
Okay, basically hockey's pretty streaky. NHL team against another NHL team, situational stats like that. You look at the power plays, penalty kills against, and then you also look at past matchups. The NHL teams rarely change that much, so if one team always dominates another team, you kind of got to go that way. And you got to realize underdogs will cash, right? Like 35, 40% of the time,
Mhm.
right? You look at some of the best NHL teams, they're only going to win 60% of their games, right?
Mhm.
60, 65%. So you definitely got to look at underdogs as well.
Well, one thing too, say you like, let's take a sexy team like, right here locally, the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Very popular team.
Yep.
Even in the NHL betting world, a very popular team, a very hot
sure.
team.
Yep.
First year into the Stanley
Yep.
Cup and all that, and I was out here for part of it. But let's say they're going to carry a premium number because books know that.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's say they're playing Ottawa and they're laying 230. Puck line
Yeah.
is just the same as a run line in Major League Baseball,
Yeah,
correct?
exactly. Yeah, so it's -1.5, right? You'd want to take Vegas -1.5, probably be -130, something like that. You never want to take heavy favorites. If a team's dominating another team like that, or odds makers give them that value, always take the puck line. So you bet the puck line -1.5. If you did like Ottawa, you'd take Ottawa +1.5. Now, personally, Ottawa this season has been better than I thought they would be,
Mhm.
but they're really not that good of a team.
Right.
But yeah, you just look for certain situations like that, basically.
So on the over and unders
Yep.
in the NHL, and I see a lot of 5s and 6s.
Yep.
Is that kind of the range they're usually in?
You know what? This year more than any, it's been actually higher than normal
Mhm.
because a lot of games last year were going over the post
Right.
total and books were getting burned, right? So this year, I've noticed that the total's definitely a lot higher in a lot of games. So you're seeing 6.5. You'll even see 7 occasionally if you
Yeah.
have 2 good offensive teams.
Curious to know, and this is a question of mine. Like I said, I have a staff handicapper that does my hockey.
Right.
I don't question him. But so you look at baseball and you look at listed pitchers.
Yep.
Now you could actually bet listed pitchers or action bet only.
Right.
In hockey,
You
how
can't
much?
do that with goaltending. No.
You can't do that with goaltending, but how much do you handicap in the goalies per game?
Oh yeah, 100% you have to, right?
Yeah.
Because the hot goaltender, run into a hot goaltender, doesn't matter what team it is, you're not going to beat them, right?
Right.
So
And what are some of the things you look for when you're handicapping a goalie? Like the stat.
yeah, you're looking at save percentage, basically. Games played, save percentage. How did the goalie do in his previous 3-4 games? Is he hot right now? Is he cold? Because goalies are very streaky.
Mhm.
During the course of a long season, they'll get cold, right? So
Yeah, and that's one thing that my hockey guy did tell me was, and it's the same thing I do in Major League Baseball, on a long season when you have that many games, even in the NBA, it gets cyclical. Teams go in cycle. They get hot,
Yeah.
and then they get cold.
Yeah, for
Just
sure.
like starting pitchers get hot,
for sure,
and
yeah.
then they get cold.
Yeah.
Same thing with goalies. They
Yeah.
get hot.
It's
and they
streaky,
get
right?
cold.
They get
Yeah.
streaky, yeah.
So do you do a lot of? You can look at the overall season stats, but you kind of look at the last 3 to 5, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
For your sample
Yeah,
size.
you want to stay in that sample size, right? Because if the goalie's hot, you can tell over the last few games, right?
Right.
And any hot goalie can stop any team in the NHL. That's the thing, right?
Mhm.
You're only as good as your goaltender in the NHL.
Right. Well, there you go, folks. There's just some quick hockey handicapping tips. Say that fast 3 times. And you can just avoid all that. Just go get Vernon's picks because he's one of the best hockey guys around. When he's got a big one, guess who gets a text from Wah? Hey, well, what's the tip, baby? Be sure and check out Vernon over at DocSports.com. Click the link in the description below. Come on over and see us.
Thank you.